Dear students, today I'm going to discuss with you all about the religious composition of population. Okay, so here I will be discussing about the religious composition of population of India as well as the working population. Okay, working composition of population. So, like in our previous class, we have discussed about the rural-urban composition of population, and I have also explained you what does the term population composition mean. Okay, so, religious composition is an important characteristics of population, which basically provides us information about the distribution of the population, okay, according to the religions they practice. So, in our country, India, we can find people practicing different religion, okay, belonging to different religious groups actually. Okay, so here we are going to mainly discuss about those major religious groups and what is the percentage of people, okay, who practice those religion actually. Okay. So as we know that religion is one of the most dominant forces which affect the cultural and the political life of the majority of the Indians. Okay. So in our Indian society, religion plays a very important role. Okay, religion plays a very important role, and the religion, it affects the culture and the political life, okay, of the majority of the Indians actually. In our country, there are different religious groups. Okay, we can find people practicing Hinduism, people belonging to Muslim, okay, practicing Muslim religion, people practicing Christianity, okay, people practicing belonging to Sikhs and all. Okay, so there are different religious groups in our country, and Hindus are distributed as a major group actually. Okay, in our country, the percentage of people practicing Hinduism is more, around 70 to 90%. Okay, about 70 to 90% in different states. Okay, in different states, the percentage of the Hindu population, it varies from 70 to 90% and even above. So Hindus are distributed as a major group in many states, ranging from 70 to 90% and above, and except the district of states along the Indo-Bangladesh border, Indo-Pakistan border, Jammu and Kashmir, the hilly stations of the northeast, and in scattered areas of the Deccan Plateau and the Ganga plains. Okay, the percentage of the Hindu population is little bit less along the Indo-Bangladesh border and along the Indo-Pakistan border, and in the state of Jammu and Kashmir, in the northeastern states, okay, etc. The Muslims, the largest religious minority, are concentrated in Jammu and Kashmir, whereas the Muslims, okay, they are the largest religious minority. That means after the Hindus, actually, the larger number of population, okay, they belong to the Muslim community actually. Okay, they practice Islam. Okay, the Muslims, the largest religious minority, are concentrated in Jammu and Kashmir and in certain districts of West Bengal and Kerala, and in many districts of Uttar Pradesh, in and around Delhi, and in Lakshadweep. Okay, so basically, the Muslim populations can mainly be found in the state of Jammu and Kashmir, in some district of West Bengal, in West Bengal and Kerala, and in a major part of Uttar Pradesh, okay, in and around Delhi and in Lakshadweep, and they form majority in Kashmir Valley and Lakshadweep. Okay, but these Muslim populations can mainly be found in majority in large number in the Kashmir region and in the Union Territory of Lakshadweep. So apart from the Hindus and the Muslims, we are also having people who practice Christianity, the people who practice who belong to practice Sikhs, okay, Jainism, Buddhism, and all. The Christian population is distributed mostly in the rural areas of our country. Okay, in our country, majority of the Christian population can be found in the rural areas actually. The main concentration is observed along the western coast, along Goa, Kerala, and also in the hill states of Meghalaya, Mizoram, Nagaland, Chotanagpur, and in the hilly areas of Manipur. Okay. So people practicing Christianity can be found in the state of Goa, okay, in some areas of Kerala, and in the hilly areas, okay, in the northeastern hill states of Meghalaya, Mizoram, Nagaland, some parts of Chotanagpur Plateau region, and in the hills of Manipur, they can be found. Okay, they are mainly concentrated. The Sikhs, they also occupy, okay, quite a good number of population in our country. and they are mainly concentrated. They are mainly concentrated in the state of Punjab, Haryana, and Delhi. Okay, so basically the people, okay, who practice six religion, actually they can be mainly found in Punjab, in Haryana, and in Delhi. Okay. Apart from this, there are very few percentage of people in our country who practice Jainism and Buddhism. Okay, Jainism and Buddhism, the smallest religious groups in India, have their concentration only in the selected areas of the country. Okay, so people practicing Jainism and Buddhism, okay, they can be found only in some particular areas, only in some selected areas of our country. Okay. Like the people who practice Jainism, okay, they can mainly be found in the urban areas of Rajasthan, in Gujarat and Maharashtra. Okay, in the urban areas of Rajasthan, Gujarat, and Maharashtra. Whereas on the other hand, the people practicing Buddhism can be found in the state of Maharashtra. Okay. The other areas of Buddhist majority are Sikkim, Arunachal Pradesh, Ladakh, in Jammu and Kashmir, Tripura, Lahul and Spiti in Himachal Pradesh. Okay. So apart from Maharashtra, the people practicing Buddhism can also be found in majority in Sikkim, in Arunachal Pradesh, in Ladakh, okay, in Tripura, in Lahul and the Spiti region of Himachal Pradesh. Okay, so these are the areas, okay, where we can find people practicing Buddhism. Okay, so these are the different main religious communities actually. Okay, which can be found in our country. But apart from this, okay, like there are some you can say tribal groups of people actually, okay, who practice their own religion, okay, who practice their own culture and all. Okay, so in our country, according to 2011 census, around 79.8, that means around 80% of the peoples are Hindus, around 14.2% of the population are Muslim, 2.3 are the Christians, 1.7 are the Sikhs, 0.7 are the Buddhists, and 0.4 are the Jains. Okay, whereas 0.2% of the people, they have not stated their religion during the census. Okay, and 0.7 said, okay, they practice some other religions and also, okay, like some of them does not practice any religion, or some of them, they follow their own culture and the tradition. Basically, the some tribal groups of people actually. Okay, so this is what about the religious composition of population. So the religious composition of population of India, it mainly provides us information about the distribution of the population, okay, according to the different religious groups and the areas where they are mainly concentrated. So students, now let us discuss about the composition of the working population, and it is also an important characteristics of population because in our country, India, okay, we see that the people, okay, they work on the different sectors. Okay, they work in the different sector. Like some of the people are engaged in the primary sector, some in the secondary, some in the tertiary sectors and all. And as we have discussed earlier in our previous classes about the working population, okay, like which group of people are considered as a working population? The people between the age group of 15 to 59 years, okay, they are considered as a working population. Okay, so this group of people, they are mainly engaged in the secondary sector, in the primary sector, and in the tertiary sector actually. Okay, so according to this economic status, okay, the population of India, according to the economic status, is mainly divided into three groups. That is the main workers, the marginal workers, and the non-workers. Okay, that means the working population of our country can mainly be divided into three categories: main workers, marginal workers, and the non-workers. Okay, so who are main workers, who are marginal workers, and which group of people are considered as the non-workers? See, so according to the census, okay, according to the census, a person who works for at least 183 days, okay, or 6 months in a year is considered as a main worker. Okay, that means a person who works for minimum 183 days, for minimum 6 months actually. Okay, that particular person is considered as a main worker. Whereas, on the other hand, okay, a marginal worker is a person who works for less than 183 days or 6 months in a year. Okay, so there are many people in our country, okay, who does not get proper employment opportunities, basically in the rural areas. the farmers who are practicing, who are engaged in agricultural activities and all. Okay, they does not have work throughout the year actually. Okay, so this group of people actually, okay, they work for less than 183 days or less than 6 months in a year actually. Okay, and they are considered as the marginal workers. Whereas on the other hand, the non-workers basically include those group of people, okay, who are unemployed, okay, who are not engaged in any type of economic activities. So in our country, as I have said earlier, that basically in our country, the people are mainly engaged in the primary sector, secondary sector, and the tertiary sector. Okay, so this chart, it provides us information about the percentage of people engaged in the different sectors of economy, as well as this chart, it provides us a detailed information about the number of male and the female population engaged in the primary, secondary, and the tertiary sector. Okay, and this is the data according to 2011 census. So here you can see that around 54.6% of the population of our country, okay, around 54.6% of the total population of our country, they are engaged in the primary sector. Okay, whereas only 3.8%, okay, only 3.8% of the population of our country is engaged in the secondary sector, and 41.6% of the population of our country, they are engaged in the tertiary sector. Okay, so from this chart, actually, we can say a major portion of the population, okay, a larger percentage of the population of our country, they are engaged in the primary sector. Okay, and what are the different types of activities which comes under this primary sector, such as the agriculture, mining, quarrying, animal husbandry. Okay, these are the different activities which comes under the primary sector, fishing and all. Okay, means the activities which are related to the nature, which are related to the land. Okay, they are known as the primary activities. Okay, and in all these sectors, you can see that the number of males in the primary sector also, the number of male is more. Okay, more percentage of males are engaged in the primary sector as compared to the females. Even in the secondary sectors also, you see here that more number of males are engaged in the secondary sector as compared to the females. And even in the tertiary sector also, more number of males are engaged as compared to the females. Okay, so it shows, it reflects that in the Indian economy, okay, it reflects that in the Indian economy, the percentage of the male workers are far higher. Okay, the percentage of male workers is far high as compared to the females. Okay, as compared to the female workers. So if you visit any areas, actually, you will find that the percentage of males are more actually. Okay, if you go to any sector, actually, if you go to the industry, you visit any industry, you will find the maximum of the people working are the males. You visit any of the tertiary activities, okay, any of the service providers, you will find that mainly the males are engaged, females are very less. Okay, so basically in our country, majority of the males are engaged in the workforce as compared to the females. So the male worker, they outnumber the female workers in all the three sectors, as we have seen in the diagram. Okay, in the chart. Okay, the number of male workers, they outnumber. That means the number of male workers are more, okay, as compared to the female workers in all the three sectors, in the primary, secondary, and in the tertiary sectors. The number of female workers is relatively high in the primary sector. Okay, like in the primary, secondary, and the tertiary sector, the number of females are less. Okay, but you can see here, as compared to the secondary and the tertiary sector, actually, the number of females are relatively higher in the primary sector. That means more number of females, okay, work in the primary sector as compared to the secondary and the tertiary sector. So the number of female workers is relatively high in the primary sector, though in recent years, there has been some improvement in work participation of women in the secondary and the tertiary sectors. Okay, but in the recent years, with the development of technology, with the increase in the literacy level, okay, we can see nowadays that the percentage of the women, okay, the percentage of women workers in the secondary and the tertiary sector has increased, has improved to some extent. The proportion of the workers in the agricultural sector in India has shown a decline over the last few decades. Okay, and the percentage of people working in the primary sector, basically in the agricultural sector, it has declined. in 2001 census, okay, according to 2001 census, around 58.2% of the people were engaged in the primary sector. Okay, but now only 54.6, according to 2011 census, only 54.6% of the population is engaged in the agricultural sector, that is the primary sector actually. Now, what may be the cause actually? Because nowadays we can see that the literacy rate in the rural areas is also increasing. The people, the children, okay, in the rural areas, they are opting for education, higher educations and all. Okay, so they are not at all interested in carrying out the agricultural activities and all, and they move to the urban areas or they are engaged in some other activities and all. Okay, so this is the reason that the percentage of people in the agricultural sector is reducing. As well as on the other hand, okay, in many areas the farmers, okay, basically the small farmers, okay, they does not agriculture is not a profitable sector for them. Okay, from agriculture they does not earn a handsome amount of money. So those group of people, they have already migrated, leaving the agricultural system in the rural areas. Okay, they have migrated to the urban areas to earn their livelihood. And this is the reason, this is also one of the reason that the percentage of worker in the agricultural sector is reducing. Okay, and it has reduced in the last few decades. Consequently, the participation in the secondary and the tertiary sector has registered an increase. Okay, so on one hand, we can see that the number of people or the percentage of people in the agricultural sector is reducing. So these people who were working in the agricultural sector, they are now shifting to the secondary and the tertiary sectors. Okay, some people are migrating to the industries, they are working in the industries and all. Okay, some people, they are working under various tertiary activities and all. Okay, so in the secondary and the tertiary sector, in the last few decades, actually, there has been a growth. But whereas in the primary sector, there has been a decline. Okay. So this indicates, okay, this changes, okay, it indicates a shift of dependence of workers from farm-based occupation to non-farm-based ones, indicating a sectoral shift in the economy of the country. Okay, so this changes in the percentage of workers in the different sectors of economy. It shows, it reflects that the dependence of the worker, okay, that the dependence of the workers on farm-based economic activity is reducing. Okay, and they are shifting from the farm-based economic activities to the non-farm-based economic activities. Okay, so this basically shows us, okay, it basically provides us information that in our country, okay, the economic status is developing. Okay, the economic status is developing among the people of our country, and this is the reason that people, okay, the percentage of people in the agriculture sector is reducing. So this is what about the working composition of population. So I hope you all have understood about the religious composition of population and as well as the working composition of population of India.